Just got to go with.
Singing, didn't you?
I gave you one a couple of weeks ago. I sang it for you. Did you not record it?
No, I didn't record the jingle, but I've gone live anyways with it. So hello, welcome along. I'm Ad for the Mackem.
That was a good job. I'm not singing then. I was about to.
This is the Mackem Football Show. We've got a full cast today. And potentially more joining as well. Left to right, David the Doofus.
Hello.
Hello. And for the Mackem. Hello. I don't know why I was waiting for a response there. We've got Paul Wilson featuring Michael Bowers.
Hello. I don't know if you said my name, but Paul was talking as you both talked at the same time, so I'm guessing you said my name, but hello.
I did indeed. Welcome along, boys. We have Alan Westray.
Hello.
Hello. Andrew Westray.
Right.
All right. Hello. And the Yorkshire Mackem, aka Jacob. Welcome along, boys. Evening. I think we've got a good, healthy chat happening in the next hour or so about the future of our club, basically. We'll first talk about the whole result first. A 1-0 loss, a lopsided 1-0 loss for Beale's side. I'm just going to open the floor. Does anybody want to chip in with their thoughts? First come, first serve. So just shout.
All right, I'll go first. I'm happy to open up the floor here. Right, Beale, the man, has sapped out all of the energy and excitement of this team. Like under Mowbray had us playing in a way that was pretty exciting to watch. We got some good results. We conceded them shitty goals, but at least it was entertainment. Beale's come along, sapped out all that excitement. It's all gone. I don't know what he's thinking. People complain about Mowbray not having a plan B. This geezer, he hasn't got a plan A. He doesn't know what he's doing. I kind of get behind him. Said it from day one, and I watched us get beat 3-0 first game. This guy is not going to last the season, and I've seen nothing since then to change my mind.
I think that's fair. I don't think you're alone in that either. We have had the Mackem Cabby join us as well, so we'll go through everybody else's thoughts on that whole game itself, and then we'll introduce Cabby along in there. So next up, do you want to jump in there, Paul/Michael?
You, Michael, first.
Is it because we don't want to talk about how crap the game was?
Go on, Bowers.
Yeah, I'm trying to be dignified and not swear too much, but I can't promise anything. It was just nothing. That's kind of the way to sum up the game. It was just nothing. Look, I mean, I'm someone who always feels that if you don't concede a goal, you don't get beat. And yeah, of course, typically Fabio Carvalho scores because he was a player I wanted us to sign. But generally, a lot of the game, it was just directionless. It was just, just plodding along. Yeah. And I felt like the urgency wasn't there. And I don't know if anyone agrees, but I thought Hull were terrible. I thought Hull were awful.
You agree with that? Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't great.
Hull were a bad team. They were less than average.
No, yeah, exactly. That's the kind way of putting it. For me, it looked to me like Hull just came up here and said, right, we'll play for a draw, and then we play for a point and managed to get 3, which is absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, they're buzzing with that.
Absolutely
buzzing.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely for them, it's a great win. But for us, I just felt like, I don't know, every time we tried to go forward, there was we could tell a couple of the players were trying to press Hull a bit, but then we almost backed off midway through pressing them, and we just didn't seem to have any urgency or intensity. There was even a couple of times after we went 1-0 down where I felt we were just strolling towards the corner flag when we were coming up to take a corner. Now, granted, I think we're absolutely terrible from set pieces, but it doesn't change the fact
that we had 12 corners, and I think, well,
how many were
on target? Probably one.
I was going to say I'd be surprised if it was more than 1 or 2. Yeah, I don't know. I just felt like, yeah, I mean, with Beale, yeah, I'm usually someone that tries to avoid getting on a head coach's or manager's back straight away, but nah, for me, he isn't good enough. And I think if you look at I think it was on social media, I can't remember what the account's name was, but someone put up a stat about all the, and you can dismiss XG all you want, but our XG generally under Mowbray was pretty good. We generally were better than more of our opponents, but now it's gone from like every single game that Beale's been here, we average less a goal a game in terms of chance creation.
I
So
mean, I like the XG. I think it's a good. It's not it's not perfect, but it's a good barometer of the game.
oh, exactly. Yeah.
You're right.
Mhm.
XG,
Yeah, exactly.
right? 0.77 yesterday. 0.77
After 15 shots.
after 15 shots. Yeah,
That says a lot about
it's
how
just
many.
not good enough at home against a bad Hull team. I think even the Hull fans will say like that wasn't great football. Like they're
Mhm.
not a good team.
No, it's not.
But 0.77 XG against a pretty poor team at home is bad.
Can I just jump in and just talk about
Yeah, go for it, Al.
the difference between coaching and management? So if you rewind back to when he first got to the club, and he did like the club put out, it was on YouTube, like his first day where he came in, he met the players. I don't know if you ever watched that. He getting to that, the discussion was you don't have to run when you've got possession. So he was already teaching him to calm down the player. So out of possession, sorry.
Right.
He was slowing the whole tempo down, and that was his first discussion with him. I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was along them lines. So if you go back and watch it, you'll see it when he's on the training pitch. Secondly, the difference between a manager and a coach. So if you watch the whole game yesterday, you can see where he's broke the thirds of the pitch down, the patterns of play. So all they're doing is training pitch stuff from our box to the middle to their box. That's it. There's no dynamism. There's no license to get forward, to be creative. It's all very structured in the way they're playing. A lot of possession, but we're getting nowhere with it. Now with Mowbray, there was a lot of license and freedom to get forward. I'll go back to last season with Diallo, Clark as well, and Roberts. It was all very dynamic. Yeah, obviously we managed without a centre forward, but there was freedom and there was license to be creative.
Yeah.
Management. Now, if you look back at managers, right, good managers, I said this on live when we're watching the game, they've got a voice, they're passionate, they're angry, they get the point across. Ferguson, Pep, Klopp, they all bollock people when they do something wrong. He sat in that dugout and said, fuck all, to the point where Pritchard was having a go at him. Now, I like Pritch. I like Pritch, but manager, and Pritch said that to me, I say, get the fuck off the pitch. I'll put something else on if you're not going to do as you're told. And that there says to me, the dressing room has been lost. If your players are gobbing off to you from the pitch, he's lost the dressing room already. Because, once that happens, there'll be little pockets open up in training, little groups, where as before with Mowbray, it was the whole team were playing together, if you know what I mean.
I hear what you're saying, and I agree with a lot of what you're saying. What annoys us is Beale will tap the stats. He'll say, "Oh, well, we had more passes, we had more shots, we had more corners. Well, we had more, X, Y, and Z." Everything.
Doesn't mean anything, really.
Well, exactly right. It means absolutely nothing because we didn't have more goals. But Beale's analytics, his fucking little algorithms going in the background that he was supposedly brought in because he had all this data behind him. It means absolutely nothing. It means nothing.
To me, on that point, exactly, it's very surface level, and any fan can do that. He's not the fan. He's not a fan of our club. He's our head coach. He should be doing more with that information. He should be able to make changes that actually impact the game. And it's not unique, this game against Hull, by any stretch of the meaning this season. It's just a continuation of every single defeat that we've had at home, where teams part the bus, we can't break them down. I think the only difference I saw in this game is we had tried to attack through the middle maybe 2 or 3 times in that entire game, whereas we never had that before. So maybe that's because we actually had Rushin in the middle to aim at, rather than nobody there for the entire rest of the season. But he should be doing what Al said, introducing the creative outlets to allow them to do something, allow them to cut in, have cover for them if they need to cut in. Just the only person, and this is not going to please Davey, who might come on in a bit, but the only person who actually tried to have pop shots here and there was Ekwar, but they were 40 yards out. They were never going to go anywhere. Why is our best efforts or our best creative outlets ending in a 40-yard shot? That for me is where we need to
Seems we
to
can't break
change.
them down because they've got fucking 7 or 8 blokes just sitting at the edge of the box.
And it was consistent throughout that entire first half. That I can't remember more than 4 passes.
Pritchard had 4 shots yesterday. Our next best, as in the next geezer who had 2 shots from 40 yards.
Yeah.
But when you're trying to break teams down, like if they're sitting 10 man in the box or deep, the only way to break them down is get out wide and get the ball in. And we've got no one to there's no one to aim at. There's no Ross Stewart. Obviously, I know there's talk about this Kiefer Moore. Apparently he's a big lad. I don't know. And I don't know too much about him. But we haven't got a target man. Rooson's fucking 5 foot nothing. Do you know what I mean? He is there for, if you like, to run the channels, to be a fox in the box. That's his job.
Out, isn't he?
You know, he is not going to hold up play for people to get forward.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's
we went
nothing.
for 70 minutes yesterday, and he didn't have a shot. Like, I don't know how many touches he had. I saw that little graphic at the start of the second half where he maybe had like 4 or 5 touches in the first half. I don't know how many he got in the second. But he's not the guy, man. I feel for him, but like, team's not set for him.
It's not even about that though. He should be able to, if he's competent enough as a head coach, he should be able to identify it and know this, like, give the guy the time and what have you. Like, you've got to trust, like, they've hired the right person. He knows what he's talking about. He will be able to put his system in place. He's had 8 weeks now, and I have not seen a change in how we set up.
I said it yesterday in the live stream. We've gone backwards, and it's not. It's
2
it's not
steps
exciting.
back.
It's not exciting football anymore. Like Alan says, like, you had license to be a bit creative up front.
Freedom.
For freedom. Now all he wants to do is pass it through midfield. I appreciate you can't go long. Like, I know we don't have the guy at the top, so we don't have that other option, which is the elephant in the room, because every fucker knows that that's what we need. Like, yeah, just frustrating, isn't it?
It is. Cabby has joined us. Cabby, welcome along, mate.
Hello, guys. How you all doing?
Hello, mate.
Good.
Hey, Cabby.
What's your cat called?
That's called Fudgy.
Can you get him on?
Great name.
Can you get him on the camera? I can see his tail.
See its tail, yeah. I'll just wave its tail at you.
Fudgy's like, what you did?
We'll do a
Cabby, what the fudgy hell's going on at Sunderland, mate?
Nah, you need to Cabby, get him to say "fuck the mags" in cat language or whatever.
As Bogger says, what the fudge is going on?
Fudge the mags. Fudge the mags.
Fudge the mags. You sound more kid friendly these days.
Yeah, PG, Michael. Keep it PG.
Yeah.
I've been listening to what you guys have been saying, and the most frustrating thing is the fact we just seem to keep going round and round in circles. It's like the new one has come in and we think, oh, this is exciting time. Money's coming into the club. We're going to be moving forward now. Go through the managers. Managers become worse and worse and worse. The team gets worse and worse and worse. And then we start going backwards again. And it's just like, we've got to stop this downward spiral, which constantly seems to be happening all the time. It's like, why cannot we progress and get to that next level? It's just so damn annoying. And it feels as if we're on that downward slope again, when if we carry on the way things are, then we'll be playing Division 1 at some time in the near future again, which, of course, heaven forbid, will never happen. But the way things are going, if we keep going on with this trajectory, with crappy coaches and the owners not even having a clue, then we'll end up back there.
So, yeah, I think that's the worry for it. But if you use last night's game as an example, what's the difference that you're seeing from this Beale side, Cabby? Is there any difference that you're spotting that wasn't there with Mowbray side?
Yeah, they've lost the sharpness. They've lost the. I mean, just look at some of the games we played this season. The end of last season, when we were passing teams off the park, and we've lost the sharpness. We've lost the quickness. We've lost where we'll go forward, and we're splitting defenses in half.
It's the killer instinct, isn't it?
The killer instinct. We've lost that. It's like we've got super glue injected into our joints. We're slow. We're lethargic. We can't be bothered. It's like, oh, do we really? It's like a slog. It's like we're running in concrete, and it's just so painful to watch. And it's everybody's screaming how obvious and what the problem is. It's awful.
I think
just to add to that, if it's all right, I mean, I get what you're saying there, because this for me is why last night, as much as I think Beale is shite and should go, which I'm not unique in that perspective. I'd be very surprised with many Sunderland fans that feel like he is the person to take us forward. And by forward, I'm being serious, not like saying take us forward, but feel free to take us forward into League One so we can defend the Papa John's Trophy again or something. But like, yeah, piece.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry,
I'll
the
take
Bristol
that.
Street Motors Cup, as it's called now, I think.
Yeah.
Either way.
Is it not the Pizza Cup anymore?
Yeah, either way, it sounds bloody tin pot. But the point is, we like Cabby's right. We don't want to end back there. We don't ever want to be. I mean, we shouldn't have ended there in the first place, to be honest. But you don't want to end up back there. And for me, I think how Cabby described this, I think, was actually quite accurate. Where I felt like it was a bit. I felt as much as Beale is not someone that you can imagine as a great motivator, I'm someone of the opinion that you shouldn't need to be motivated all the time to be able to go out and want to play at the best of your ability, because at the end of the day, it's our club they represent. That as soon as those players cross that white line, we expect 100% from them. And maybe I'm in a minority on this, but I watching that game last night, I can't think of many players that I could think would walk off that pitch and say they couldn't have given any more. To me, it looked half-hearted. It looked bit toothless and effortless sometimes. I mentioned again before the fact when we were 1-0 down, we were strolling and strutting towards the corner flag to put a corner in rather than sprinting to try and get back in the game. There was just no urgency. There was no tempo. Everything just felt very one-dimensional. I just don't know. I don't get it. And yes, Beale obviously has got to take a huge amount of blame for that, because whatever the tactics are, I can't be bothered to get started on tactics of Beale, because I'll just start a swear fest for like 5 minutes. But it's for me, I think the players have also got to look at themselves and take responsibility, because I'm not being funny. People can say our squad's not good enough, but I refuse to believe that recent performances are
I disagree. Our squad is good enough for the playoffs.
Sorry?
I think our squad is good enough for the. I mean, there's obviously one missing piece, but the rest of it.
There's something there. That's the thing. That's frustrating. There is definitely something there. Like we can all see that all you need is one or two key components and you should be finishing in the top 6. That's the annoying thing. Like, why, for me, recent performances are not the level we should expect from this squad. We expect intensity. We expect I'd like us to keep clean sheets. Everyone knows that. But at the end of the day, intensity, like, we're good enough to put teams under pressure. Just to go back like a week ago, if you look at the Ipswich game, there was a couple of times in that game where we did something called press Ipswich and actually give them something to think about. And albeit the chance we created in that game, it resulted in Al-Shish, who should have scored, but it's still pressing them resulted in that chance being created. Why we seem to be just half a yard off teams all the time when they've got the ball. I don't get what the intention's meant to be. So for me, this squad and Beale especially, I think they're underperforming recently, if I'm being totally honest.
That's a massive point what you're saying there, Bowers, because of the fact, like, I mean, I didn't mention the players in that before, but surely you would think 40-odd thousand screaming Mackems in the Stadium of Light should be a good enough motivation to get you going. I mean, surely the players would rather have the Stadium of Light singing the name and singing like, surely that should be a big enough motivation to be going out running on that pitch to the biggest team in the Championship, the biggest stadium, the biggest fans.
Yeah.
Why isn't that enough to get the players says, come on, let's get this crowd going?
So I'll jump in there, mate. I don't think it is like that at the minute. At the moment, with Beale there, the fans are struggling to find things to sing about. We're looking at our players, with the exception, and I will slightly disagree with Michael there. There was 2 players that I can call out by name very quickly. Ballard and Pritchard yesterday put their hearts on their sleeves.
Actually, yeah.
Pritchard has been very good. He's been probably the best player the past couple of games. I mean, it's not saying much because the rest of them been pretty dire.
But those 2 you can see want to play for us.
The game, he did it in the Newcastle game. He tried, we were a couple of goals down at the time, but he got on the ball. He tried to make something happen. He did the same yesterday. He did the same against Ipswich, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like, at least he is putting some effort in. He's like, fucking hell. And that's probably why he's had to go at Beale, because he's like, fucking hell.
We can't be this slow, lethargic team that Cabby's bringing up. Like, you can see that that's not enough for us to get goals. It's it's putting your heart on the sleeve, and with the exception of those two, I'd agree. Like, what are the rest of the fans looking at when they're looking at their players playing slow like Beale wants them to? He's just like, I think it was Andy at the start saying we've just zapped them of all energy. We've zapped them of any kind of zeitgeist.
Like,
it's
even
just...
if you look at the difference between the games under Dodds and now, it's fucking night and day, man. Like,
yeah, no. Do you reckon the fans, like, such an edgy, horrible atmosphere at the minute?
Mm-hmm.
Do you reckon that's massively percentage towards Beale and not the team? The fact, like, because they just don't want them there. And do you think?
Yeah, but what they're probably doing is they're looking at the squad. The squad hasn't changed. The squad hasn't changed since Mowbray. The squad hasn't changed since Dodds. But now we're looking at like dour performance, uninspiring performances. Now, there's only one variable that's changed, and that's the gaffer.
Yeah, it's how they're spoken to on a day-to-day basis, isn't it?
Well, that's the problem, because like Beale doesn't. Beale. I've heard a lot about his time at Rangers, and about apparently that one of the big things he does is cause division in the dressing room, and it's starting to look like that's the case here already. And he's barely been here a month, so
history repeats itself.
That's exactly. That if you believe the things you hear, then there's been fights every day in the training ground. But yeah, but in a way, right? There was a rumor that came out today on social media, and again, all it is a rumor. But you can never rule anything out with Sunderland, can you? But apparently, like, there was a rumor apparently that Dodds and Beale and the players were scrapping it out and like really getting animosity towards each other. And in some ways, and this is how bad it's got, I actually partly hoped it would be true, to the point where it might actually wake the club up and go, nah, fuck this. Beale's not the man. We need to get rid of him to save the season. Because the frustrating thing is, I think today Coventry won against Sheffield Wednesday, but majority of the results, like Watford around us didn't win. Norwich and Coventry were the only teams around us, I think, to win games. So the point that frustrates me in all this is that 5th and 6th spot is there. If we literally want it, it's there. And people can say our squad's regressed since last season, but there'll not be many teams around us, unless you're a parachute team, whose squads got better compared to last year because of the financial side of the game. So,
good point.
For me, I think if you like, I can't remember who said it before, but the only quantifiable difference is the gaffer that's changed in terms of performances. But the performances earlier in the season suggested that actually we were one of the better teams in the league. We just lacked a cutting edge up front. So for me, to go from that to this leaves me to think, no, I think the standards are slipping. If I'm being honest, I think the standards have slipped in recent games. And even if you look at Dodds, here's something I want to. I don't know what you guys think about this, but I usually hate it when people just brand about the phrase "the cheap option." However, I have to admit, when you look at Beale, it does look like the cheap option. But something that I don't get is, if Beale was the cheaper option, then why did you appoint Beale when you could have just given it to Dodds for 6 months? If you wanted to get someone else next summer, then why not just give it to Dodds, save the money you're going to spend on Beale's wages to begin with, and the hefty compensation fee you're probably going to have to pay now to get rid of Beale? Why not just give it to Dodds? Dodds showed, it's not just the fact we beat West Brom and Leeds, it's the tactics that he showed across those two games, especially against Leeds, where we didn't just sit back against Leeds, we had the better chances and deserved to win the game, in my opinion. So, unless Dodds really didn't want it,
yeah.
I just don't get. Unless anyone knows something I'm missing, I just don't understand why you don't just give it to Dodds.
I'll tell you why I didn't get put Dodds in. Dodds, what they'll have seen in Dodds is a coach, right? He hasn't got pedigree as management, and they went. They started fishing. The nature got rid of Mowbray and went, right, we need to replace him. Put the lines out. And looked what the options were. I don't know who applied for the job. There'll probably be more than Beale, but Beale is probably like the Darren Brown of coaching. He's probably gone into a fucking presentation, filled their heads full of ideas, and have gone, oh, do you know what? He's really good. Let's give him a shot. And now they're regretting it. That's what's happened. So there's no trust in Dodds. They went, nah, let's see what we can get. Beale's gone in, probably interviewed fucking really well. And I went, yeah, he's the fucking man. They probably looked at his back catalogue. Yeah, he hasn't been a full-time manager, but the success he had under Stevie G at Rangers, they'll have thought, yeah,
QPR. I think it's what he did at QPR.
QPR mates probably thought, yeah, maybe he can get a tune out of this team. But there's a difference between coaching and management. I see it all the time. Right?
I was looking at the fixtures like the next few fixtures.
Sure.
And if we click and get our acts together, there's quite a lot of wins capable there for Sunderland. We've got the likes of Huddersfield, we've got the likes of Plymouth, and we've got Stoke, we've got Birmingham against Tony Mowbray and stuff. And I looked as well, and I was surprised as well. Not actually that many games left until the end of the season, so we need to get our act together, or our season's just gonna quickly fizzle out.
Yeah. So there's a couple of points I want to add on to that. Obviously, Michael said about like the atmosphere between the players and the staff gone toxic. Grant in the chat says that. Acacia says that as well. So it's not coming from just one fan hearing it.
Sorry, that's a rumor. I don't know how true that is. It's just something I've seen. Yeah,
there's rumors around, but then when it gets perpetuated a lot, it generally tends to become like it was fact. Like they can't have this many people just saying it's toxic and it not being, if that makes sense. Like there's some validity to it at least. There's a point around the saving the season, or that like is the season over with Beale? If the season is over with Beale, there's one question like that I did ask prior to going live, and I want to like bring that up now. I'll start with Jacob's response. Do you think we just keep Beale in to the end of the season and get rid of it at the end? Or would you like us to do a playoff push? So Beale out, playoff push, or Beale in and just end the season?
So they Beale out, then playoff. But I think this season it just feels weird. It's like it's 2 steps back. We've not improved on set pieces, particularly defensively.
Mm-hmm.
But like I think Michael touched upon it before we started. I think it's because how we did last season, why we're why we're so more frustrated, and as well it is a harder season this season than it was last season, but still we should have looked at our weaknesses from last season, improved on that for this season, but we've not. Usually your next season should be better than the previous season, and it's not really, is it, if I'm being honest?
I mean,
no,
I think that's the barometer that Sunderland fans have. But if every season was better than the previous season, then there would be no teams.
Champions League by now.
Exactly. Yeah. So it is a good barometer when we return to the championship. But
I think we overachieved last season.
By how much though?
You're probably right.
I think
we got lucky getting Ahmad in. Ahmad dragged us up that fucking table.
If you remember at the start, though, Ahmad wasn't great.
Yeah, he had a bad.
No, he was.
He
wasn't great. Everyone was slagging him up at the start until he started fucking banging a few in, and then they were behind him.
So
I think it was up until the World Cup break. He didn't really set the world alight, did he? It was only probably that Birmingham game prior to the World Cup break where he started to show the actual quality there. But I do get the point that it's a harder league this year. But I'll ask the question, right? I think the relegated teams are better than what they were last year.
No,
but aside from themselves and like Ipswich or West Brom, is anyone else in the league better than they were last year?
Coventry? I think
Coventry possibly, yes.
Coventry's the one, isn't it? But it's a valid point. Norwich, Watford, the teams around us.
Norwich and Watford are better than they are last year.
No, that's my point. Norwich and Watford, they haven't improved. Borough have gone backwards. I mean, they had a very, very, very good run towards the end of last season.
Yeah, they only managed a draw just.
Yeah, they were losing until the last 10 minutes, weren't they?
Yeah.
The point is, like with Borough, that's another one. This is why I'm frustrated that we can't. I mean, there's still 10 at the time of speaking. There's still 10 days, 11 days left in the window. But that's my point. Like top 6 again, I keep saying is there if we fucking want it, it's there. And if you look at someone like Borough, look at the players they lost last summer. They had Stefan on loan, Giles, Archer, Ramsey, I think, and they sold Chuba Akpom. And yet people think the Borough were better than they are last year. I think the one, in terms of you looking at it for squad, I know it's not as easy as this, obviously, but if you're looking at it as squad for squad, I don't think Borough's squad's better than ours, where I think they are miles better than us as the coach they've got. And that sometimes it's half the battle, isn't it? But I don't know. I'm just frustrated that top 6 seems to be there. And I think this is where, again, I'm frustrated with the players. Because if we'd won yesterday, we could have, even though not Coventry won today, we could have closed the gap to West Brom, who were 5th. So, did the players want it enough as well? That's the thing I want to know. But again, surely this can't be allowed to go on. To answer your question earlier, though, but for me, it's get Beale out. Even if you get Beale out and give it to Dodds for the next 3 months, just say Dodds has it for 3 months, and you go, right, if it doesn't work out, go back to being a coach, whatever you want to do. I don't see any reason why you can't do that. I know maybe there's something again that I'm missing, but for me, you can't let Beale carry on, surely, because if this happens, we're going to be at best mid-table mediocrity unless there's a serious improvement in performance. Or I even half joked before we came on air, how many wins do we need to make sure we don't get in a relegation battle? And we shouldn't.
Do you think the owners or KLD or Speakman, whoever's pulling the strings, would be really, really happy and content Sunderland finishing mid-table because we haven't got relegated? Do you think maybe that's their goal, to just maybe stay another season in this league?
If that's the case, then Speakman shouldn't have come out at the start of the season and implied that we wanted to go for. Well, didn't he kind of imply we want top two, which for me was never going to happen, by the way, because of like, look, Leicester, Southampton, and Leeds, man, we were never ever going to get into that conversation. But yeah, it's a valid question. I think for me, the way everyone probably knows by now, I'm someone who defends Speakman quite a bit, because if you look at this, I think there was an article somewhere that said we're among the 4th lowest wage spenders in the Championship, and we're 10th. Now, for me, that in some senses should be given a bit of respect for that. But but on the other side, you should then go, well, hang on a minute, you're 4th lowest wage spend in the Championship, so shouldn't you be able to spend a bit more in wages to push yourself into the top 6? I believe we have done some really good business in the last couple of years and put the foundation in place. Now go and build on it. Just add the little things you need, and it could make the difference. So to answer Cabby's question, yeah, I mean, Speakman, I'm a fan of, but even I admit, I think he's on thin ice in some senses, especially if he persists with Beale. Then he can do one for me. And KLD, yeah. Sorry, mate, go on.
No, so I'm pretty much like in agreement with most of that. I think Speakman is doing a good job with what he's got. For me, it's the owner, it's KLD. He's not investing in the club. He's not doing what.
Set the budget, does he?
No,
he can't do.
So KLD for me, I think is a more appropriate question for us to ask as a fan base than Beale, because I think everybody's already pre-decided Beale's not the right man for the job. But KLD had to have sign off on that. It's one of the biggest decisions that the club makes. Who's going to take our club forward? Who's going to bring us, essentially, from his perspective, more money into the club? And if that's by chopping and getting rid of our assets, our players, for bigger profit, he's not doing a good enough job for that. He's making our players drop down in performances, which drops down their value. So he's clearly made a shit decision by picking in Beale, but he's made that decision. Nobody else.
I'd argue, like, I know Speakman has done a good job, but when he's the direction of, I think he said, you're not taking Job off, because you watch Job and he's on for 90 minutes. He's fucking hanging out. He's knackered. The lad needs a rest. He's 18-year-old, and that's not Speakman. That's not Beale. That's someone telling him you cannot take Job off, truly, because it was a little bit the same under Mowbray. So yeah, Speakman's doing a good job, but I think he's got too much say in the team and how they play. That's why this coach management relationship, I don't get it and I don't like it. I want a manager to be a manager, to turn around and go, give me this player. I want this player for this position. I don't want any sort of influence, on the management, because it divides people. Do you know what I mean? Divides opinion. The managers obviously, like Mogger obviously was like, I want this. They've said, no, you can't have this. Now they've got someone in that's going to toe the party line. So, yeah, Speakman's done a good job. He has. He's got some good players in. But I think he's got too much influence on the pitch. He should just get the players in for Beale to produce on the pitch. You know what I mean? Or whoever's in that position.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, no, that's fair. I think one thing I would say just quickly on Speakman, I think, is that, but I will stress, this Beale thing is a big black mark against him, especially if this is allowed to continue and he's allowed to be there, then even as someone who's one of Speakman's biggest defenders, even I admit that's not good enough. Like, if you're going to let Beale essentially let the season fizzle out and allow him to allow the players to let the season fizzle out, then no, that's also on him. That isn't good enough.
You know what's strange as well? The fact, like, every time we get like a new coach or a new manager coming in, and say 7 games have gone in, when somebody mentions, I think we need to get a shot of this bloke, this manager needs to go, it's a 50-50 split. A lot of the Sunderland fans saying, don't be so stupid, you can't get rid of coaches and managers this soon.
With Beale, it's not that, is it?
With Beale, I've not seen one happy clapper, and I'm going on any social media site, any YouTube site.
There's no one defending him, is there?
I've not seen anybody defend him, and I've never seen, in the 37 years I've fought in this club, I've never seen so much a backlash as of a coach or manager since Laurie McManamy back in the 80s.
7 games. 7 games. That's what he's had, and he's already lost them all.
If you listen to the way Beale speak at the start when he's interviewed, I said this before. He says about alignment and that. It's as if he's just going to say, "Yeah, I'm agreeing with Speakman and KLD. I'm there. I'm just a conduit for what they want." Do you know what I mean? That's what makes me think Beale's not going to go anywhere, no matter how much the fans say I don't like him. He'll be there till at least the summer, unless somewhere drastically go. I mean, he might go, but I just think he'll be there.
Unfortunately,
till the summer.
I think you're right. I think he is going to be kept around, even if performances slip. Even if we end up mid-table, I think he'll be kept around till the summer.
Do we think that the board's going to come out and say, "Yeah, we made a right fuck up with this one. Yeah, sorry about that. We'll get rid of him. We'll start again." That's not going to happen.
Is there a risk of more players this transfer window, or maybe he's wanting away if they get sniff of that Beale's here for months to come? Could be a risk of more players just wanting to go.
I think our squad is going to dwindle massively this summer, and prime candidates have already been rumoured in this January transfer window. Pritchard, Clark, Roberts. I think even Ballard might even go as well. Our gems that we were like on, this person's putting the heart in, this person's putting the heart in. They're the prime candidates for us to lose if we keep this man in charge. It's just not ideal.
Frustrated about Beale as well is like he's already pointing fingers elsewhere. Like he's already deflecting. He did up at Rangers, like he did at QPR. Like, oh, it's not
giving responsibility to everyone except himself, basically.
Yeah, it's this guy's fault. Or it's the fans' fault. Or it's they didn't follow it. Blah blah blah.
I mean, he threw fucking O'Shea's under the bus in the Ipswich.
Well, there you go. He's already doing that. Like that's not the sign of a good manager. That's a sign of a fucking terrible.
Do you know what though? I kind of disagree with that, because I feel like we would have had a better time with Ivan Toney. Just literally, this player's too shit. Maybe he would have done it better behind doors like we did with Roy Keane. When Roy Keane left, he fucking let everybody know who was shit and who was good. But at least he didn't do it publicly. He knows how to do that behind the scenes. Whereas I don't think.
Let's get Beale out and get Troy Deeney in.
There you go. That's it.
Why not?
Did Mowbray win his game today? Did Birmingham win?
Yeah.
He won 2-1 against Stoke. Yeah.
He's unbeaten.
Right. We've dropped a big old bag of shit here.
We dropped a massive bollock.
Do you know what I kind of think? Like Beale is one of the smartest men at our club right now. Because either way, he wins financially.
Financially, yeah, but he's fucking.
He's cush. Like
his career is going to be in the toilet.
What career? Like all he needs to do is add in I've had a rough time at this club, and look how it panned out at the end of the season. They didn't go down. They didn't go up. We stabilised the ship. He can spin that if he's good at interviews. He can spin that anyway, which way he wants.
He hasn't had a rough time.
He's a class salesman.
He hasn't got himself a shit team. This is a decent team.
He's got a hostile atmosphere from day one from the fans.
That's bullshit. Well, mate, you lose your first game 3-0 at home. You're going to get a fucking hostile.
I'm just playing devil's advocate, mate.
That's not a honeymoon period. That's a divorce party, that, isn't
it? I like that. That's like the most accurate thing you can say to that.
I mean, I think is there anybody here who isn't Beale out? Anyone?
I don't think there's anyone in Sunderland who isn't Beale out.
I don't think it's going to happen, no.
So we've got no happy clappers here. I mean, I think that's the easiest way of saying it. At least we're all.
We've watched the past 5-6 games. How many?
Seven games, 2 wins, and
7 games. Right. We've watched the 7 games, and we've watched it get worse and worse and worse.
The thing is, with those 2 wins as well, there weren't his tactics that got the win. It was purely just Pritchard's goal and Clark's goal, or vice versa, depending on which order you're looking back in.
I disagree amongst that is Hull away, because I actually thought Hull away, with the exception of a couple of chances they created, we defended in general really well.
We defended really well last night, though, mate.
This is where I'll be struggling to obviously give him much credit here, but I think for me, Hull away is a prime example. I like Mowbray, but I think with Mowbray we don't win that game. The problem is that's 1 game out of 7? Is it now 7 or 8?
Well,
so ultimately that isn't sustainable across a whole season. So I think again it comes down to we're going to ask. I mean, usually I hate the term happy clappers. I think it sounds a very derogatory thing towards people who are more glass half full, but the same way toxic is to people who are more glass half empty. But I mean, I certainly struggle to find anyone who feels Beale should last the end of the season, let alone beyond that. And if they, again, it depends. Do they want the season to fizzle out? To answer Cabby's question before, I'll give you an answer with KLD. I think KLD is probably happy for us to just plod along. To be honest, if you look at the fuck, I don't know how if you guys have exhausted this to death. So sorry guys, I'm just going to bring it up quickly. But like the Black Cats bar debacle, the whole arrangement around Newcastle, like we're basically rolling out the red carpet to our rivals and go, here you go, we'll make you feel like kings of the promised land. You know, I don't care. I don't want my fucking rivals to feel like we are rolling over for them. Like, why? This is one of the most heated, passionate derbies in the country. Anyway, but the point I was going to make was, I think in some ways the situation's made to feel worse because of all of that. And I think at the club we need to, and that's across. And to be fair, as much as I still think Speakman gets more shit than he should get, I think he deserves criticism for the Beale thing, because at the end of the day, he will live and die by that decision in the eyes of a lot of supporters. So with Speakman with Beale, or with KLD with every fucker else that's going on, they need to wake up here. They need to wake up, because even if you look at it from a financial point of view, a lot of the revenue we will be getting, because we don't have parachute payments, is coming from generation revenue sales. We're shit at the club shop. We're shit at the ticket office. The stadium could do with a bit of a makeover in some senses, but we just alienate our customer base. And if the longer that goes on, how does that make financial sense for the club?
I think you've just popped the nail on the head on that with the customer base.
Ticket office. I want to quickly, if that's all right.
We know what's going to happen here. Christ on a bike. Right.
Go on.
I'll get it out. Go on, put it out there.
Go on.
This story's funny. I just want to tell it quickly. So, we played at the start of the season, a friendly. It was a Spanish side.
Mallorca.
Staying at home.
Mallorca.
Yeah. So we were queued outside. And the queues were fucking massive, right? And we were getting angry. And this bloke come along in a high vis, and he said, "Lads, if you just move down here, they've opened up another turnstile." And Andrew was like, "Why in the fuck did you tell me that earlier?" It's like proper bollocking this bloke. And he was like, "Hey mate, I work for Stagecoach. I'm just telling you, he's a bus driver, just walking past." Just bollocked him.
That's not funny, right? But does that not sum everything up though?
Like the fans are trying to help each other out rather than the club.
I thought he was like,
look at the high, like get the old hairdryer. just a Stagecoach employee trying to be a good guy.
Alan was like, "Well, you should fucking work. You're better than these."
I mean,
sorry, I digress there. Go on, sorry.
No, I think we've kind of nailed it on the head with like just how it's been run at the minute. It's not professional enough for what we expect. I know we're not Man City, we're not Arsenal, we haven't got this heavy investment from our owner. But why not? Yeah, but the question is, why aren't we being run like more professionally? Why aren't we like flagging this up and just going, this is not good enough? We need the EFL to look at our ownership to see if they're actually performing to the standards that we expect.
Well, what was the fallout of this Red and White Army thing? Like, was there, the sit down with KLD? Did that happen?
Yeah, it apparently happened.
Does anyone know about it? Right, is there any minutes for it, and what was asked? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'll be released next week at some point.
But what other questions have been asked to this ownership? Because
it doesn't really matter what questions are asked, because they'll just bamboozle you with like some nonsense and then move on without really answering the question.
So they politicize it and just give a shiny bell the other side of the room.
They don't give two shits. As long as they're churning money out, as long as they're not fucking losing money, they're gonna be alright. They're not gonna give a fuck. Don't matter if Beale's in charge. Don't matter if anyone's in charge. As long as we're staying in the championship, ticking along, they're not gonna give two fucks.
Do you know what? We should get rid of Beale and put Ekwar in charge, shouldn't we?
He can
player manager.
Do you know what? He didn't
player manager.
Yeah.
He'd be better than fucking Beale.
Mate, he might sub himself off when he's not fucking performing. Christ. Instead of Beale going, 70 minutes of absolute shite. Yeah, that's all right, mate. Stay on.
The thing I'll say about Ekwar, Davy's right, about the Ipswich game. He was bad. And I was like, and when they took Bar off, I couldn't believe it. And that's Beale's that's Beale's management. It was like, why are you taking, because Bar was having a good game.
Yeah.
Why are you taking Bar off? Right, and putting O'Shea's on. Why not taking Ekwar off, putting fucking 09 in CDM and putting Selton at centre back? Do you know what I mean?
Is
like comments and substitutions.
Really Like, is he really our best CDM? Like, is he really?
Dan
He's
Neil
not a
is.
CDM.
Dan Neil
He's
is.
not a CDM.
But that's where he's
None of them
playing,
are
Alan.
CDMs.
He's
None of them
playing
are
in front of the back
CDMs.
four.
The only person who's a
he's
CDM
bad.
is 09.
He's bad. Terrible.
Yeah, but who else we got, Davey?
Well, that's a point, right? We'll try.
Well, this is it. This is it. Who else have we got? I would put anybody else there except for him. I'd put who's our fucking sub keeper. I'd put him there.
Bishop.
Honestly.
Bishop.
So, do you know what? I'll ask the question then, because
he's not that bad. David's upset about it. I get it.
No,
he's passionately upset.
I am passionate. I tell you why. Because when he fucked around on the edge of the box against Newcastle, I fucking turned around to all you and said, right, I've been telling you for fucking months, this guy is absolute shite. And if it was up to me, he would never ever play in a Sunderland top again after that diabolical decision.
Right,
yeah, and
we all know
we've
you
had 2
hate
games
Edward,
since then,
Davey.
and he hasn't been, and he wasn't good the game after that, and he wasn't good yesterday.
David, for your birthday, I'm going to get you something top of that on the back.
I mean, right. I'll ask a different question that's kind of built on that, right? You said Ekwar's not good enough for CDM. I think Dan Neil's our best CDM, but we've got options.
He's a forward playing midfielder, Dan Neil. He is not a sitting midfielder. We haven't got one. 09,
yeah.
Clear that wall. He is the only one who's a natural CDM.
So why aren't we playing 09 there and putting Sealt or Triantis there?
I don't know. And that's my question. Why? I think Sealt's a good player. You know, he's played okay.
He's not a right back though.
In the centre off? No, I know, but before that, you know, when you could have played him at centre off and pushed him in. I know there's injuries now.
You can do Triantis as well there, mate. Like, Triantis is a big, tall central defender who could potentially block that free kick.
You know, why are we not trying these things out? You know what I mean? Like, these lads are sitting on the bench going, you know what, I'm actually a centre half here and I'm watching 09 player there. I could probably do a better job. I bet you they're thinking that.
It's the same thing with strikers as well, isn't it?
CDM.
The same thing with strikers. It's the same thing. They just sat on the bench going, I want to play.
He'll tell you that you play anywhere, but like, he's played too well at centre half. That's the thing. You're putting centre half as a fucking hell. We've got no one else. We need someone there. And since he's gone in there, he's been reasonably solid. So now, what are you going to do? You can't really drop him.
You kind of drop Luke O'Nien full stop because he's a fan favourite, mate. Can you imagine that?
Well,
imagine what we're going on if we just drop Luke O'Nien and just put Triantis in? And what the fuck's Luke O'Nien done? He's been one of our best players.
No, leave Ekwa out.
Arid spell. Yeah, leave Ekwa out.
09 is CDM. And let Dan Neil and let Joe come forward and push on and let 09 sit. For me, it's total common sense.
Job's he's not. You don't want to like shackle Job to fucking sitting back. Like he has talent. Like
okay. Have you had a thought of who we need to sign then? Like if we are to rescue the season and not let it fizzle out, like if we, like, what do we need to sign?
I don't want to name any names, right?
What position then?
We need a striker and we need an option. A big fucking massive cunt up front. That's who we need.
Is that his name on his birth certificate?
That's it.
Big surname, massive cunt.
We need a striker. It opens up a lot of options for us. Like
I think we've got them. We just need to start them.
I said 40 minutes ago, the elephant in the room in that everyone at Sunderland wants to ignore is that we don't have a striker and haven't had a striker since Ross Stewart.
We've got 4. We just don't play them.
We haven't got.
I'm talking about a striker who scores goals.
Right. Okay. How many people have we got on loan? Smithy, how many people have we got on loan?
Burstow, 1.
Burstow.
Terrible.
Get in the loan market. Send them back to Chelsea. Get in the loan market and get a striker. Get someone who can put the ball in the back of the net. I don't care whether you have to blow the full fucking load of wages that we've got. Get someone in, otherwise the season is done. But we must have some wage. We must have some money aside for wages.
They're all about balancing the books, Davey, mate. That's what they're about. About staying afloat. They don't want to go in the red. They don't want to speculate and spend money. They want to do it on the cheap. That's why Speakman's there.
You need to raise some wages. Burstow has done literally nothing, mate, in the 3-4 many months.
Chelsea
send him back.
Chelsea won't take him back because he can't go anywhere else now. Once he's been loaned out to one club, that's it. So he'll be there for the whole season.
You can go abroad, can he?
No. No. You can't. You can go outside of UEFA, so you can go to Saudi leagues, but he can't go anywhere within UEFA now.
Send him there.
I mean, they could pay him, but like,
if Max Power can get a move there, then I think
those walls like them.
Wait, what? Max Power's in the Saudi leagues?
Yeah.
Since when?
Legend.
Last summer.
Bring him back.
I was going to say we could do with Max Power now.
Yeah, get Max Power back. Get the fucking tune.
If not for the name.
Yeah, no, turn it up to 11. You know, go used to say with Max Power. You know, right for the striker thing. Yeah, we definitely. I'm someone. I think we need a focal point up front. I don't necessarily even think it's about. I mean, I prefer someone who scores goals. Obviously, I still think Russian can be that, but we don't fucking play him enough. That's the problem because he was. I mean, it's not just that he scored against Preston. It's the fact that for me, he's looked very bright in most of the games that he's played, but then he keeps getting dropped, stop, started all the time, so you can't get any rhythm going. When Burstow was getting like 8-9 games on the spin at the start of the season, and it really annoyed me.
Completely agree with what you're saying there. Burstow did nothing to justify his consecutive picks. Nothing.
No, exactly. So the
Racing came in, ran very well, doesn't get the service, but then he's dropped the next game.
But you know who else they said runs very well? They give that same thing to Timo Werner. Oh, he runs very well in Chelsea, and they still got rid of him.
I mean, what does that even mean? All footballers
he runs the channels very well, but yeah, he runs the channels. He brings other people into the game. But all right, okay, great. But he's a striker and he's not scoring. He scored 1 goal.
But he's not getting any momentum to do that though. That's the problem. You can't get much momentum if you keep getting in one game and then out the next, and then in one game then out the next. What's that going to do for him? If you look at the goal against Preston, and you can say, yeah, it's 1 goal, but if you notice, for me, it's not a coincidence that we got down the wing, gave him some fucking service, and he scores. And the run he made for that goal got round his man very, very well. That's a striker's movement and striker's finish. You can't convince me that is not down to him having some sort of instinct in front of goal. But then every time we're playing, we give him either nothing to hit, or we just drop him repeatedly.
What was it? The stat from like half time, Rushin had 6 touches in the first half in that whole game.
I mean,
that is pathetic.
Point I made yesterday. Like, he's never going to get the service when you've got Jack Clark on the wing and Roberts on the other side. They're not providing passes into the box for the striker. They're cutting in every time and trying to kill one in the top corner.
Yeah, but that's how they've been coached. That's how they've been coached. Like that was it. It's going to be difficult now to take that. When we get in trouble, everyone looks, where's Jack? That's the first thing they look for to get us out the shit.
So
obviously, Patty's been injured, but there's no. I keep going with the plan B. There's no fucking plan. There's no plan what Beale's implementing. Do you know what I mean? It's like I've took over
is a problem, though.
Mowbray, and this is Mowbray's team.
But at the end of the day, like with this thing with Jack Clark, sorry, I know I interrupted you there, but the thing with Jack Clark that annoys me is when we go, oh well, we'll just pass it to Jack Clark, but why do we never notice as a team? Hang on, Jack Clark's getting doubled up on. That leaves space for somebody else to run into. Let's exploit that. No, we never fucking do it.
And that's what I was going to say. Like for Jack Clark to make the pass to somebody else, he at the minute, why if you're scoring all the goals, why would you change the glory? Sorry, I'm just going to sort that out. The Jack Clark getting all the glory for the goals. He's going to keep doing that. Like all the fans are loving that he is scoring them.
Loving it, mate. I hate watching him beat 3 blokes then running to the fourth.
But when he scores, he's loving that. He's a top scorer for the team, and if he's going to say, I think I can score this one, he's going to go for that over a pass because when he scores, people are absolutely fanning over it.
It's all about decision making, though. There's different situations. Like, yeah, he found himself on the edge of the box. He's got a yard or so of space. He's going to try and kill one, and that's fine, mate.
But that's all he does.
Go ahead and do that, lad. But if the pass is on, it's all about decision making. He does it. I don't. For me,
can we not just link the two things that we just discussed there, right? Jack Clark and Paddy Roberts and cutting in and shooting, and the lack of a striker. Do you think if they're more confident with the striker who's in the box, he's going to actually do something, that they're going to stop doing that? They're actually going to pass the ball to a striker in the box?
No, I think it's coached, maybe. It's coached, mate. That's ingrained into them.
Yeah.
For 2 seasons now. It's
but you can't say that they weren't doing it when Ross Stewart was there, Alan, because they were.
Well, when was the last time Ross Stewart was on the pitch, Davey?
We're talking about the last decent striker we had. That's what we're talking about. When Ross Stewart was in the box, Jack Clark didn't shoot half as many times as he did from the edge of the box. The cross was gone in.
It's still coached, mate. Like if I was a coach and I said, right, Jack, what I want you to do, I want you to get the byline and I want you to hook it in or cross it in to the striker. He's either on the edge of the box or he's on the fucking penalty spot. look for that. That's coached. You know what I mean? And if he wasn't doing it, I'd be like, right, off you come. But we ain't got that luxury. We ain't got that. We look to the bench and we go, who can we put on instead of Jack Clark or Barr? You know what I mean? We haven't. It's the kids. You know what I mean? So Jack knows he's not going to come off.
I've just had to Google when Ross Stewart's last game for Sunderland was, and it was exactly 363 days ago against Borough.
And Fulham in the FA Cup, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're still talking about him as our last decent striker.
Oh, the 28th, yeah.
But again, I would argue the Preston game though is when Jack Clark did run down the byline. What happened with the second goal? Runs down the byline, puts the ball in the box. Russia meets it and scores. So
yeah, I'm thinking why we're not doing that more?
Because Jack Clark wants to shoot at every opportunity, and we don't have anyone on the other side because Roberts is injured.
I can see Cabby's clamming on the edge to chip in.
Go on, Cabby. You want to spit in now? Go on, lad.
No, sorry, mate. Go on.
No. It's fine. I've honestly carry on. I'm tuned in.
Fudge.
He's ingrained.
Tuned in.
Basically, we all need to go down to the training ground again, right, lads? We need to listen to what we're talking about because fucking Beale obviously doesn't.
Can I ask a question that might be massively controversial, but like, do you think we would be a better team, like a team, without Clark in the starting lineup? Then we would be forced to be, wouldn't we?
Spurs suddenly became good when they got shot at Kane.
No, it's not that. But it's like if we're overly reliant on this one player, and this one player has a style, and we struggle against teams like Hull with that style,
forces everybody else to take responsibility.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Would we be better as a team, as a unit, without him?
Well, don't worry. Jack Clark's going to be gone in the next 6 months, one way or another, anyway, either in this window or the next one. So we'll get some money in and then do that for everybody else.
Yeah,
£8 million. I
think it's going to be 18.
What formation would you play, Smudge?
4-4-2. Revert back to 4-4-2.
How would you set up without Clark?
You can play 4-4-2. You absolutely can. You don't.
4-4-2's no, mate. You can't play 4-4-2. As soon as you play 4-4-2, opposition goes, all right, they're only playing 4 in midfield. We'll just flood the midfield. Then you lose the midfield battle. Then you've lost the game.
But
he's a point about 4-4-2. To play 4-4-2, you need 2 strikers, and we've got none.
That's the point. We've got strikers. They're just not getting the reliant service. And if you're playing a bank of 4 or bank of 8, Hull played 4-4-2 last night and it worked. Eventually, they played 8 in the box pretty much all the time.
They must have the place
not really.
To do that.
I'm not
not
sure
really.
Well,
they were playing 8-2.
We haven't got the players to change formation.
We absolutely do. We just don't. I mean,
we haven't got any depth, Smudge, man. Look at the bench. Look at that bench and tell me we've got depth. The kids.
I think
I've said this for weeks. Season pros, we haven't got any.
Which is why I think 4-4-2 would work better. I know, I'm harping on the 4-4-2. It's not the only tactic, the only formation I'm thinking about. But 4-4-2 would work with kids because it's the bog standard. Everybody understands it. There's no fucking around with it. These kids will know left back, right back, centre backs, left mid, right mid, centre mids. Strikers. It's so simple and it's really easy to understand. But for me, the tactic that would work the most and the best would be a 3-5-1-1 for Sunderland. 3 at the back.
Are you going to play wing back? Because fucking Jack Clark isn't playing wing back. I'll tell you that right now.
He's the no. He would be one of the cams.
One behind the one.
No. He's one of the cams. So I would give him somebody like Hume as the wing back. He'd take up one of the central midfield spots, but as attacking central midfielder because he likes to cut in. He's already in the middle then.
But that's my way. We're spitballing about where people could play. We're not saying definitely he plays there because we haven't got the depth, mate. We haven't. We're going to play this formation now till summer, right? Until either Beale's still here and he has a total restructure, or we get shot of him and someone else comes in with a different plan.
Okay.
Have we already spoke MV because
no, we haven't yet. No, we haven't spoken MV. We haven't spoken names. So
we want season pros. There's a bloke who's played for a long time, wants to come to us, wants to come back to us. Get him in. He can play in central midfield, and I go out and on the bench.
I mean, I'd rather we have rotation players for everybody, available at least.
What?
I feel like with it MV thing, like it's a bit of rose tinted nostalgia, isn't it? Like,
oh yeah,
it's a bit of nostalgia.
He could do a job though. He could do a job. Same as people who were saying, "Oh, get Henderson back." Bring Henderson back. He
no,
can do a
thank you.
job. Yeah.
Henderson probably could do a job. I'm not sure about him there.
For me, that's also one key area. We need a bit of experience as well, though. Centre midfield. And I'm someone who usually gets very tired of the we need experience thing, because when you actually look at the last couple of years, the youngsters have actually proved that we didn't need it last year. But I'm not. And I'm sick of hearing that in general. But I will admit, in centre midfield, that's a big exception to that. That's someone you need someone in the centre of the park who's going to take control of the games. The amount of times we've tried to play, and even under Mowbray or Beale, and ended up losing the ball because of naivety in midfield. I think if you get a lot more control in the midfield, we should be winning a lot more games.
Right.
The problem is, who would you get in then? Who would you get in? Who's available?
I'll ask you a question, right? If you don't mind. I don't know if you guys agree with this, but I would not be surprised if we didn't get an experienced midfielder, because they'll think, well, Evans is coming back soon. And I don't think that's right, by the way. Because even if he comes back,
about him.
Sorry,
you forgot about him.
He's been out. How long has he been out now?
Exactly, that's the problem, though. Because if he comes back, is he going to be the same player? And how do we know he's not going to be injured again? You know,
he could be the new glass slipper.
Who we talking about? Evans.
Yeah, Corey Evans.
Yeah, Corey Evans.
That's him. Corey. I couldn't even remember his first name. That's how long it's fucking been since he's been on the pitch.
Well, it's been over a year, hasn't it?
I mean, right. Is it? What do you define as experience? Because it could be it could be number of seasons you've played, number of games you've played. Danny Bat's like 31 now. I mean, it doesn't fit our model.
No, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that, like, that sort of, he's been around the block, he's won, he's lost, you know. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to read the game well. He knows, you know, he knows when to play the ball, when not to play the ball, when to, you know, he's got a bit about him. So he can read the game. Like Alan said a while back, there's a lot of naivety. Like, there's a lot of fucking around. Like,
on the edge of the box.
Just need someone to sometimes put the foot on the ball. Pritchard tries to do it all. You watch Pritchard, he tries to do it all the time, but then he's like, fucking hell, I'm going to have to like drive forward myself. He did it yesterday. He did it against the Mags.
So I'm more like harping on about the word experience itself. I think it's more aptitude of the individual, because I would say the likes of Ballard has the necessary aptitude to keep his level head for the majority of the game. I
agree with that.
Because you could have somebody who is experienced but is an absolute clown. Look at Luis Suarez. Like, he would be classed as experienced, an absolute goal scorer, an absolute machine. I don't think he would ever come to Sunderland, but like, the point is, he's experienced, he does the job, we would do really well, but he has a absolute vulnerable attitude and would potentially be toxic. So there's a point I'd rather have the right.
So I would really want him there.
Yeah.
Likes people, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, it's T for R offside, but you get my point though. Like, experience is only as good as the person who has it. So you could have somebody who's only ever played 2 games, but they are the perfect fit for this team. It's about getting that in more than anything else.
For me, loads of experience in League One. Will Grigg, he had tons of League One experience, and he was absolutely fucking shite.
So yeah, I watched him score a goal against Grimsby, mate, and it was class.
But you get my point there, though. Like, you could, yeah, it's about getting the right people. Like, I would much rather have a kid who has the right head on him than the other way around.
Yeah, but
we've got too many kids. I think that's the point.
We have got too many kids. Like, I'm not saying get rid of all the kids and get in a load of pensioners. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah,
all I'm saying is get 1 or 2 seasoned pros in the middle of the park, centre half, up top, to let them learn from. Do you know what I mean? That's all I want. I'm not asking to totally restructure the team. I'm just asking for a little bit of that'll help them develop. If anything, if you had someone like Henderson, Cattermole, Kevin Ball, someone in the middle of the park, you know, a leader, someone who knows how to play midfield, someone who knows how to be aggressive and non-aggressive in the title, I want to show them, maybe, you know what I mean, they kick on a bit more. But that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying to total restructure, just a little bit so they can learn.
I mean, I'm just looking at our our current squad on transfer market, and we have 3 players that are over the age of 30 now. That's it.
Who are they?
Corey Evans, he's 33. Alex Pritchard and Bradley Dack, who are both 30. They're
the door this summer, mate. He's not staying, so that's him gone.
Yeah, Dack's gone.
I mean,
I'll be surprised again,
to be honest.
Do you know what? I think Pritchard gone this summer if Beale's still here.
I thought he was going to go last summer. I was for sure thought he was done.
Yeah, but I just think I think he got on with Mogger, and I think he was. If you look at Pritchard's body language, even when he was sub under Mowbray and he came on, there was no dissent. He just got on and did his job. Do you know what I mean?
He knew the crack, didn't he? He's like, oh, you'll just come on 60 minutes.
He
play the first 60 minutes.
He understood.
Is it kind of, sorry, come on.
Go on, jump in then.
Is it kind of worrying the fact, like, could it massively affect what players will get in this transfer window? That the fact, like, it's such a poison coach at the club at the moment, could that affect who we're going to bring in? Where, we're talking about we need an experienced striker, an experienced midfielder. So who's going to come and join the latest regime with what's going on at the minute? The hatred.
That's a good point.
Beale obviously talks a good talk, so maybe he'll fucking convince them.
So
Darren Brown trigger.
We've touched on with Bradley Dack being Mogger's man, right? Is there any Rangers players? Is there any QPR players that are Beale's boys that we would essentially sign in this transfer window? I don't think there's anybody that likes him that much. That was there.
Nobody likes him. Nobody fucking likes him, man. Rangers, QPR, they all hate him. Like,
so you've got to think. You've got to think when you hire a manager who they have as like their go-to guys. Every other manager we've had has had somebody. Even Moyes had some players he brought in. They might not have worked for us, but at least he had a team to come back and go, if we can sign him, he'll do well for me. He listens to me, you know what I mean? Like, at least they have players to come in. I can't think of anybody who Beale would bring in.
The only thing Beale will be bringing into this club is genital warts.
The clap, yeah. Lauren, sorry, I'm just going to call out a couple of people who's popped into the chat. Acacia's having a good chat with Lauren Kenny, and so is Paul in the background with him. So thank you for picking up on that. Elliot says when Newcastle signed Daryl Murphy when they went down, he was an all striker. So there's like experience again. And Paggard has said when the club will the club be big enough to admit they've made a huge mistake in hiring Cindy Beale?
That's what I said.
It should be, yes. No, it's a different question.
The short answer is fucking no.
I don't think KLD, the ownership, anybody in the communications department will go, do you know what, we did a fuck up, and it's just not our style, or it's not their style.
I wouldn't be surprised when it comes to near season ticket time for people to renew their season tickets if they did it though, because again they'll be not for the right reasons, but they'll be looking at it going, oh shit, people aren't going to renew here if this twat's in charge.
I mean, that is an excellent point, because I'll tell you a story. When I fucking got a season ticket when Sam Allardyce was here, I went, this is it, next season's got to be it. And then lo and behold,
next year goes to England.
It comes Boise.
Is there any smidgen at all that Beale could possibly turn this around and become folklore?
He needs to win the next 4 games on the bounce. He needs to win the next 4 games.
I'm gonna say, what can he do to convince us that he's not a fucking total moron?
Yeah.
He has a big fucking uphill task. I'll tell you that for now. Like, he's gonna have to start winning games. He's gonna have to start, I don't know, showing some tactical nous
and reacting to the game.
Showing something pretty quickly.
Right, should we move on to score predictions, Smudge?
What, against Stoke City? Yeah, why not?
It's been an hour now.
Oh yeah, it has. Fuck it, time's flown. What was Stoke lost 2-1 to Birmingham today. We lost 1-0 to Hull. So both teams in shit form. They've got a new manager. We've got a new manager. Both of them underperforming. Oh, is that Stoke or is that Sunderland?
It's at home.
It's at the Stadium of Light. Oh, do you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to say 4-3 to Sunderland. Both defenses been absolutely tragic, and goals coming in from Ballard and I was going to say Marty Poom there, Anthony Pritchard.
Don't think so, lad.
I think it's going to be high scoring because everybody just doesn't give a shit anymore. There you go.
No, Beale will be fucking straight on them, right, lads. We're going to pass through midfield and we're going to you keep possession. It'll not be that.
If you've seen nothing forward, just turn around and go backwards.
Well, I think they haven't got the Alex Neil effect, so I'm going to go for 4-0 Sunderland.
Oh, you mean Stoke side?
But it's fucking his knee chance. We'll be looking for scrape 1-0.
Well, I'll chip in my prediction. I'm going to say, I said 1-1 for Ipswich game, 0-0 for the whole game, so I've been pretty close. I'm going to say it. I'm going to be positive I'm going to say it 1-0 Sunderland. Right.
1-0.
Dan Ballard header.
Anywhere we'll beat them 1-0.
1-0 Dan Ballard header. That's what I'm going for.
Go on, Jacob, you jump in, mate.
Oh, I don't know, honestly.
Right, next question then.
Go on, mate. Jump in.
Because it's us, we're not going to win and just go for a draw, 1-1.
Okay.
Yeah, we stop the roll.
Go on, Paul and Michael. Can you just like rock paper scissors? You have to agree to it.
Go first here. I need to think.
Certainly, yeah, I'm going to go for a defeat. First time I'm actually going to say that on here. Since they lost today, I can see them coming back. So I'm going to say 3-0 Stoke.
Oh,
that is definitely Beale getting sacked.
You know, right, this is the thing. For some reason, I've got to. It depends for me entirely on the application of these players, because for me, we shouldn't be getting beat at home off Stoke. But with the current state the way it is, I think I'd probably just edge to maybe a 2-0 Stoke with Gooch having a masterclass, because it'd just be the most typical. So the thing is, right? I mean, to quickly answer, because Lauren put a question, I think, saying who would we get in if Beale left? Just give it Dodsey to the rest of the season. Nothing can be worse than this clown. But for me, I'm asking you a question, right? And I can't believe I'm asking this, and it's shit, to be honest.
Go on.
Would you take a couple of goal defeat if it meant Beale got sacked immediately afterwards?
Yes.
Yes, actually.
Oh,
no,
I can never say that.
For the context of this season, I don't want to lose any game, but if it meant we have a better chance of top 6, yes.
I can have them score for Stoke myself.
Sorry?
I will go out there and score a goal for Stoke myself.
I'll go and play for Sunderland and just let them go past us. It's what we do half the time defensively anyway.
I mean, if that was a guarantee, yes, but like I can't accept like just Sunderland losing any game just for the sake of it.
I would never say I can't accept rolling hour just to get rid of a bloke.
Ideally,
I'd rather skate with boring 1-0.
Yeah. Ideally, though, what I would like is for the fucking club to listen to us as fans and just go, look, here's the obvious, sort it out, and they just don't do that. That's the simpler thing for me.
KLD, listen, you're having a laugh.
I mean,
KLD watching?
I was going to say, KLD listening or having a laugh. You thought it was acceptable to do the fucking Black Cats bar thing in fucking scum colours? He's not going to listen to this, is he?
That stuff is still up in the Black Cats bar as well.
Did you see the picture today? Did you see the picture today that did the rounds? I think it was one of the guys from the Echo put it up, where it was like a bit of cardboard or something, right? It just went toon, Black and White Army, still in the Black Cats bar.
Oh, that's bad. After 2 games as well.
They should have been ripped down fucking second full.
They shouldn't have been printed out in the first place, though.
Out you can, down it comes.
I mean,
they're overrated in Newcastle. Overrated.
Did someone say last week though that Davison got sacked? The CEO.
Yeah.
I've heard that, but I don't know if that's true.
Is that true though? That's what, you know what I mean? Is it just conjecture? You know what I mean? Is it just rumour?
It might be rumour because it wasn't officially announced. He's on gardening leave. Oh, that means they're doing an investigation or something. Yeah. Lauren's saying Bill needs to walk. He's an absolute fraud.
He won't walk. He's got a 2.5-year contract.
Why would he walk away?
Would you walk if he had guaranteed money for 2.5 years? No chance.
Mm-hmm.
The thing for me is that the club's got to be very, very careful here how they approach this, because, you know, again, I said earlier that if you're relying on people to keep on renewing season tickets to get the revenue in, then they need to get rid of Beale well before, either before then or well before then, preferably, because what people are going to get behind, if Beale's still here by the time season ticket renewals come out, what are they going to go? Oh yeah, we'll just be happy plodding along mid-table in the Championship. Now, last season there was a bit of a difference there, because last season we just come up from League One. We weren't expected to do what we did, but that novelty wears off. Now we're at the point where a club of Sunderland's size, and people can claim it doesn't matter, whatever they want, that's bollocks. Size of club does matter for context of expectations. So for us, either this season or next season, we need to be pushing to try and get into the Premier League. And they either need to match that ambition, even if it meant Clark goes in the summer and spend a significant portion of that money on reinvesting it directly back into the squad, or in the case of KLD, he needs to fucking wake up or sell to someone who is going to take us to the next level. Sorry, I know I've ranted a bit.
No.
I can't freeze.
I mean, I'm pretty much on the same wavelength. If we are to write off this season, next season is a must, or KLD has to go. It's as simple as that. If he's not investing, he's not buying the players.
My hands with the club because the heaters are not working on the gents, are they?
No, exactly. We can't even get that right. won't even want to fix it. It's too much money.
And I mean, it's like $6,000 or something like that for a generator. But
no, see, for KLD though, that's like $5,500 too much, mate. Come on.
Yeah, can Joey not do it around the corner with his jet wash? No.
Has KLD actually got money? Because
yes, look, just look at his bank account. Yes, he has money. He's just not spending on us.
Then.
He's not spending on us.
Then to invest enough?
No, I don't think so.
That'd be the answer.
Are we still better off with KLD than we are with Donald and Salmon Pants?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
we are.
100%.
So it is still a step forward.
So,
I
think
maybe a small step forward.
Yeah.
Maybe a baby
step
step
forward by default, though, isn't it? Really, it's not like anything because look, he's amazing. The thing for me is, I understand why we had to cut our cloth accordingly within League One, but the fact of the matter is, how long have we been out of League One now? 18 months, something like that.
Yeah.
At this point, we really should be starting to see these things getting fixed, and it's took this outrage. The thing is, the club are always good. Well, say good. The club are always responding when people have a meltdown over something, but they're never proactive enough to prevent a situation that causes a meltdown.
They're going to see people having a meltdown about Beale pretty soon.
they're already seeing it.
I mean, if you look to next week, I'm very worried if Stoke score early and passes off the park, how toxic is that atmosphere going to get?
I mean, I can see them just parking the bus, to be honest.
Listen, what happens if we fucking win 5-0? What we're going to say then?
We're not going to say good Beale. Now we do a Beale.
No, I bet you do. I bet they go, Beale might turn the corner. I bet you that happens.
You just go, well, we beat Stoke 5-0. Yeah, they got 3 players sent off, mate. It's not an achievement. Oh, look, we've lost 4-0 to Borough the next week.
We've got an inside man there, though, haven't we? Dylan, thank you.
Sorry?
Beale has missed a match through thrush.
Oh my god! You got a lot of writers, isn't it?
Elliot's had a good little comment, by the way. He says the funny thing is hiring and sacking Beale would cost more than just paying Will Still's fee.
But that comes back to my point, though. Like, if Beale's the cheap option, then just give it to bloody Dodds. You've had to pay money to hire Beale, and then you have to pay a compensation to sack him. Like, this is where I blame KLD here, because if you're really wanting Will Still, fucking go and get him then. Like, come on. With all due respect in the world, we're not Accurate and bloody Stanley, are we? Like, we should be able to go out and pay a decent amount of or we should. We probably won't, but we should. You have to go out and pay a decent compensation for someone. I wouldn't be surprised. Correct me if I'm wrong. Does Will Still's clause, or was it the release clause, or whatever it is for a manager, compensation, does that run out in the summer, or am I making that up?
No, it runs out at the end of contract. So if he's in contract for 2 years, or whenever that contract runs out, it
$5
goes...
million to buy him out, wasn't it?
Something. I thought it was 1 point. Yeah.
No, I think that's a good point. Like, you might as well have just then paid Will Still's fee.
He was our number 1 choice as well.
Can I ask you, which do you prefer, a managerial role or a coach role? Do you think we'll ever see the manager roll back at someone?
So the management will come back when KLD leaves, and it will be when he leaves.
Yeah, for sure.
When Speakman and KLD there, no chance. It'll be coach.
It's micromanagement.
Manager. I want to see someone, Clough, someone who Peter Reid. You know what I mean?
But do you not think that
I want that in my club
now, though?
You what?
I mean,
the head coach role is more common in football now, though, isn't it?
This is the point I was
it is. It is. I get it, but
from managerial roles,
I used to prefer manager, but I just think the problem you've got with manager, and yes, this is probably on Sunderland for doing it wrong, is that if you have manager with one set of style of play, and then you appoint someone who's got a different way, and then you've got a set of players who aren't accustomed to the way he wants to play, then it just creates what happened under Ellis Short, doesn't it?
So what's Pep and Klopp? Are they coaches?
They're managers.
They're managers.
They're managers.
Top of the tree, management. Right? Look, management hasn't gone away. All right? It's just we're trying to reinvent the wheel and go a different approach. Oh, this is the way everyone in Europe's doing it. No. I want someone in who runs the show, knows what they want, knows who they want to buy, and knows what style he wants to play. Because Beale ain't that. You know what I mean? He's getting direction from behind him, and I don't like it.
You could mention the point about Klopp and Guardiola, though, but what about Arteta at Arsenal? What's he? A head coach. What's Andre Postecoglou? I can always get that name wrong. At Tottenham, head coach.
So
there's also
that's just a name, though. That I think the managers. I I think Postecoglou's a manager. I think he's just been given a title coach. They're managing the club.
The difference between both of them, though.
For sure, fucking Levy isn't managing Tottenham. No chance.
Right. The difference is between those clubs that you've mentioned and our club is with those head coaches, they are actually listening to the head coach and going, we want somebody who fits this style, and then they're going out and finding it and paying for it. We're not doing that. Yeah. We've had head coaches that go, we need a striker who's game ready.
The problem might not necessarily be with the system; it's who implements the system.
Well, it's suspending in it. It's suspending in it. We've had Mowbray say we need a match ready striker. We've had we then signed 4 strikers who were high potential. None of them materialised. Why aren't we listening to the manager and just buying that one striker that they've asked for rather than 4 kids who might fit in? That's the difference. Whereas money. Yeah, and that's it. It's investment in our current style. Head coach system.
And ultimately, can you say that they have high potential?
Because the thing is, where should the book stop? Where should the book stop with the money? Kale, Louis, Dreyfus, and actually one Satori to a lesser degree as well, which I keep forgetting he's at the bloody club.
Yeah, you're Uruguayan, Jesus, and they have had high potential, by the way, David, because it's what an under 21s international player for Portugal, a lad from Chelsea, a lad for the national team in Ukraine, and Mienda, who was at PSG. Like these players that come from
the guys who are the internationals. Yeah, all right, fair enough. But a guy from Chelsea, come on, because he's at Chelsea, don't mean that he's good.
But that's the thing. He performed in the academy levels at Chelsea. That's high potential. It's not match ready. It's not match ready, but it is high potential.
We got Ahmad last season.
He was academy for Man U.
It was the same situation, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's high potential. It's not. We're not buying somebody who's ready.
It's once in a lifetime. You didn't get a loanee like that and get him again the next season. Another one the next season.
That's the point I'm making.
But if it's a gamble.
I'm gonna put in. I'm gonna head off. Your liver and onion pizza's about.
Oh, that's fucking file.
Yes.
Liver and onion pizza.
Do not start on Cabby's diet, mate. Catch you in a bit, Cabby.
No, thanks, Cabby, mate.
Enjoy, Cabby.
See you in a bit, mate.
Enjoy pizza, lad. I mean, I'll be off shortly because the next game's about to start.
Thank God he's gone.
Thank God he's gone.
I'm only joking.
Poor lad.
But you know, the thing is, I was going to make the point about how Ahmad's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. Should we then be critical for not being as good this season if Ahmad is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity because it's hard to get a player of that caliber in the Championship again?
I don't think we're critical on the players. I don't think we're critical on our performance. Maybe we're critical more that
we're not logical and smart about it.
A player like Ahmad's much harder to replace, though, isn't he? Then.
Well, of course he is. Yeah, and I knew it. We all said it. Like when we need him back, or we need someone like that. But they've gone for it, and it's been a bust. Like we've got one loan player. Like last season, how many players did we have on loan?
5, wasn't it? 3 or 4.
I think we had a good 3 or 4. I would say. Yeah, Sims, he was performing well. Ahmad,
Gelhardt.
Gelhardt. There was a couple of good performers. I can't say that Burstow has performed well, and he's our one lone player. That's why I say loan options is that's where we should be heading. I really do think that.
I mean, it's the most affordable option, but
again, a certain loan option who scored against us last night went to Hull. Who was that?
Oh, Carvalho.
Yeah, he was someone that as soon as he got recalled from
Carvalho chat from
where was he? Was it Leipzig? He was at first half of the season.
Yes.
Yes, I believe he was. Yeah, for me, he was someone that, and Paul will be sick of this because I said this to him about 100,000 times. When Carvalho came back, I was like, "Fucking get Carvalho," because he's someone who has had experience. He can talk about experience or whatnot. He's proved that he was good enough, too good for the Championship, and Liverpool willing to loan him back out again. And it comes down to what fee Liverpool wanted in terms of a loan fee or how much they wanted us to contribute in wages. But a player like that, for me, if Ahmad wasn't available, that was, maybe I'm being simplistic, but that was someone for me we should have gone for.
We're going to do business right at the end when it's the cheapest. That's when we're going to do business.
Or of this window, of the summer window.
Yeah, this if we do any business, it'll be at the end when it's cheap, mate. That's the way we work.
We got Gelhardt on the 27th of Jan last season. when we knew we didn't have any other options. So yeah, I don't think you're wrong there. But
it's just they're obviously tight with the purse strings, mate, and you just narrow your options. The longer it goes on, the options narrow. Now I know we've talked about that Kiefer Moore and Langstaff, but it's things are stalled, and I don't
like because he's much less in wages, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be happy with Langstaff. Like, do you know what? I'd be if they got Langstaff, I'd be like, maybe the club do want to progress because they'll have bank goals and he's bank goals everywhere he's been. He's got a bit of pedigree. Yeah, stepping up a little bit, but
isn't he the one that Notts County?
Notts County. Yeah, but we looking at the strikers we got. We didn't know anything. We said this last time. Didn't know anything about Rusin. Didn't know anything about Amir. Do you know what I mean? So at least he's got a little bit of history, if you like, banging the goals in.
Do you know?
Just out of interest.
Oh, go on then. Sorry,
lads. Just out of interest, would you be up to try and sweeten the deal if, say, we bought Langstaff and as a result, one of Hamir or Mayenda got loaned to Notts County for the rest of the season?
What, snap the runs off?
Because for me, I think Hamir and Mayenda,
you actually have them both.
They need to be playing games,
Do you not think it's a big jump for Langstaff though? Like if he's our best option, our biggest rumour from Israel Conference to League Two, do you think League Two to the Championship? He's read like the experience that we're clamouring out for. Yeah, he puts a ball in the back of the net, but it's against teams like Gateshead.
Yeah, if we were in League One, I would say it's less of a gamble. But I do get your point. Championship, you're jumping 2 divisions, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is we don't give strikers much service. So Langstaff's probably obviously he's going to be in a much worse league, but he's getting the service then, isn't he? Like, so we need to seriously start getting the ball in the box regularly and getting the service to him. But how many goals he got for Notts County this season? It's like 20 already or something.
This season,
20 and 27.
20 and 27, but 21 in all competitions. He scored a 1 in the FA Cup, didn't he? Yeah.
So he knows where the net is then.
Yeah, he does. And that's what we need.
Talk me through Kiefer Moore's stats then while we're on.
I'll have to pull him up.
I'll try and have a look. Sorry, Paul. I know I'm nicking your computer here. Right. If you're talking recent stats, well, this season for Bournemouth, he's played 7 matches, scored once. Last season, he played 27 times apparently, scored 4 times. Championship. Oh, he only played 4 games for Bournemouth when they got promoted. Oh, okay.
He scored twice this season for Bournemouth. Once in the cup as well. He's
not going to be match fit then, is he? Well, Langstaff is probably good to go.
But it's Premier League quality down or League 2 quality up.
How do you know he's Premier League when he hasn't been playing?
Well, he's literally played in the Premier League for 2 seasons.
Yeah, but has he though?
He's been in the Championship for Ipswich for a bit, for Barnsley, for Wigan and Cardiff, and he scored.
Give me stats on a long run where how many goals he scored per season. A long run in team. When was that?
So when he was at Wigan,
21 and 51 for Barnsley, 2018 to 2019.
I think Cardiff's his best example. Cardiff is most recent as well. 2020 to 2022, 64 games, 25 goals in the Championship. That's at this level. It's against these kinds of opposition. We know exactly.
Right. So we know his level is Championship then, because he's not making it in the Premier League.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. So he's going to be. He may suit, but he's not going to be match fit. Well, Langstaff.
It's not just about the goals, is it? Because it could be a focal point and something to hit in the box. But for the longer he's been out missing and not playing for Bournemouth, then the longer he's going to need to get up to match fitness, is he?
And it'll take him a couple of months.
Yeah, and that's assuming he doesn't get injured either.
So that's his season done then?
Yeah, may as well be. No one knows.
Yeah, if it's going to take a couple of months for him to be developed into a first-team squad, and we'll have a potentially different manager by that point.
Langstaff is like, by the end of the day, I can't remember who said it, but like the point of Macaulay Langstaff is he's been literally regularly playing, hasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
So it just makes you think that he shouldn't need any time to get up to speed, apart from adapting to the level.
I'll pull this example up then. If we are to like literally fix every single issue on the pitch, is it still going to be enough with this gaffer in charge? That I think is where we lie at the minute. I don't think any of our players.
What are you looking for? Like to make the playoffs? Is that what you?
If we're to compete with where we were last season, I know last season's the first return surprise package, overperformance, all of that, but we've got a current performance level that we expect now in the Championship. We're underperforming on that under Beale. We struggled towards the end of Mowbray's era, but we are in contention with the playoffs. Do you think if we get all of those players that we've mentioned here in these transfer targets with Beale, do you think we'll still hit the playoffs?
No.
Let's let.
There's no. It's a straight no. This guy is not taking us anywhere.
No, but I'll revisit that question at the end of the transfer window. I'll revisit that question and say, let's see, we bring in.
Yeah.
Let's see this couple of games because he's not going to get booted. You know, he's got the Stoke game and the Huddersfield game at least. So let's see them 2 games in the transfer window. Then I'll tell you. But I can't at the minute. Look, if they beat Stoke 5-0. Do you know what? I'll be happy for him. You know what I mean? And if he turns a corner, that's great. I want him to succeed. I don't want to fucking hang the bloke. But you know, the longer it goes on, the worse it's going to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The thing is, if you answer that question, I mean, it depends. It literally depends how long you keep hold of Beale. Like either performances, both from players and tactical performances from Beale, considerably need to improve and stay at an improved level, or you need to get rid of him. And the thing I wonder is, the only thing I can think of that should be a saving grace, and the fact I'm thinking this is depressing, but like the fact that we're so shit at the minute, could that accelerate Beale going quicker to then save our season? Or are the club content with just saying, you know what, we're probably not going to get relegated, we'll just try and pop along at the top half of the division? And if that's the case, then there's no ambition there, because we should be looking to push for the playoffs. I reiterate, we're 5 points off 5th. The season shouldn't be considered a write-off, but with Beale, we'll be lucky to get anywhere near it, I think.
Yeah. Well, look, I'm gonna go at the Stoke game, and then I'll definitely. I'm not totally bail out at the minute because I really want them to turn it around. You know, I hate to see people fail. Yeah. But as soon as if we get beat off Stoke, then I don't think there's any coming back.
I haven't got a leg to stand on then, I don't think. You could argue with a lot of people it's like that now, but especially if we get beat off Stoke, and especially if we play poorly, then nah. For me personally,
anyway.
If we watch
the same dour, uninspiring performance as we did last night again and get beat again, like, nah.
We've had worse results this season, though. If we look at it on paper, we have had shit results this season, but none of them have been to the point where it's absolutely like we've been absolutely trounced. Other than the Borough game, like
is that at least under Mowbray it was exciting. Like you might get beat, but at least it was good football to watch. Now it's.
I mean,
well, it was mostly good. Yeah,
I think results for me are more important than entertainment, though.
To be honest, I think one thing that I've noticed here,
delivering neither, is he? He's not delivering a performance and he's not delivering results.
Across this whole season, one thing I've noticed considerably is out of 28 games, I've got the table in front of me. We've won 12, we've drawn 4, we've lost 12. That's way too many defeats for me.
Isn't that what Blackburn did last season? And they were basically kicked out of the playoffs 3 weeks.
Difference to us, didn't they?
Yeah. So like it is possible to win lose as long as we don't add in draws into that mix. Then we should be competing.
Well, that's the thing. You don't want to draw too many games, but I just look at it. If you turn out of them 12 defeats, if you turn 4 of them into draws, we're 6th, or turn 5 of them into draws, we're joint 5th. For me, we need to get into a habit of, if we're not going to win, then make sure you don't fucking get beat, because like you can draw. Sometimes, occasionally, drawing is not a bad result. I just think for me, we're just losing too many games. Like when we're finding a way to lose games when we shouldn't be. And yeah, don't get me wrong. Obviously, you want to win every game, aren't you? But realistically, if you look at the team, how many teams around us have lost? Like Hull have lost 10, Norwich have lost 11, Watford's lost 8. Then we've lost 12. Middlesbrough Middlesbrough, if I've got the same record we have in terms of identical results. But yeah, we need something to get behind, don't we?
Yeah,
and I don't like hounding head coaches. Sorry, guys, I know I keep interrupting you. I don't like hounding head coaches out, and that's why I've always tried to be on the fence with Beale and give him a shot. But I just don't feel this can be allowed to continue. But I hope he proves me wrong and I look like an idiot. That's what I want more than anything.
I'll back you up on that one, to be honest. Like for me, as long as we don't do what Watford did, they chopped and changed the manager to the point where they're pretty much crippled now. So there's cautionary tales around football, and I don't want us to become the next one. So
what we're saying is, we're 80% bailout?
Probably.
I'm 100% if he was sacked tomorrow, I'd be happy.
I'm
definitely leaning that way.
I'm going to go. I'm 90% Beale out, but this Stoke game is the final nail for me. Final nail.
Okay. I've got a poll up, and I just want to see where that poll is.
That's probably where I'm at. Anyway, guys, I am dipping because the mighty
I'm going to go.
To be fair, I was just about to wrap it up and say good night, everybody.
Are you wrapping it up, mate? Wrap it up, mate.
Yeah, no worries. Well, we've got the watch along for the next for the Stoke game. If you're not able to make the game itself, pop into here. But other than that, catch you next week. See you on Friday.
Really, I've got a feature for you that we should do after every game. Right, you ready for this? I haven't thought of a name for it yet, right?
But it's about Equa. It's about Equa, right? Isn't it?
No. The feature. This is the feature, right? The best player on the pitch and the worst player on the pitch, right? We'll all name them, right? And I promise I won't just say Equa every time, right? I'll be legit about it.
Okay.
But we need a feature name, Smithy. You can work on that while I'm gone.
Seb Larson.
Seb Larson. Right.
Award for the most.
James CJ. Oh fuck!
What was that? Right. The last thing I wanted to call out was the poll I had on whilst this was going on. The number one thing that the fans have said in this chat is the manager needs to change, then the ownership, and then finally the tactics. In that order. One person said the signings. So we all know where we're at.
Disagree with him. Well, let's go with the majority then. All right, I'll go with what the fans want.
Manager, ownership, tactics, then a player.
Yeah,
and that's where we're at.
Basically, the poll suggests
the fans have spoken.
Should be doing better.
Exactly. So the players are fine, apparently. And on that note, catch you next time. Well,
lads. Out.
Bye.
Okay, see you in a bit.
In a bit.
See you lads.